Baruch Dayan Ha'emet, we praise the Judge of Truth. If anybody has a cell phone or a pager, you might want to turn it off or set it to stun. That's how old I am, but actually, thankfully, Janet was older. Begin with Psalm 121. Esai enai el haharim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai, oseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yitain lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum, velo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yeminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka, ve'yareach balayla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmar tzedcha avuecha, me'ata va'ad olam. I lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian. God is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. God will guard you from all harm. God will guard your soul, your going and your coming, now and forever. Death has taken your beloved Janet Jaffe. Friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence, there is lamentation. In their tears, there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For Janet's love, that for many, many years united people and which death cannot sever. We are grateful for her companionship that we shared along life's path and which continues through the tenderness of memory. We are thankful for the gifts of her heart and her mind that brought joy and happiness and is now a precious remembrance. It is a time of sadness and grief, and so once again we listen to the voice of our sacred scriptures from Sefer Tehillim, from the book of Psalms. It tells us of our kinship with the Creator, in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. And together let us recite in the English the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We gather this morning to celebrate and to mourn. We mourn a dear mother and friend and grandmother and relative, and we celebrate a life well lived. We pay tribute to the life of your dear Janet Jaffe, her Hebrew name Levana Bat Moshe. There's a poignant teaching very appropriate for us to contemplate on a day like today. It's appropriate to contemplate as we live our lives in the manner in which Janet lived her life. In 1798, the great Hasidic master, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, was imprisoned in St. Petersburg for spreading religious faith, and thus for spreading subversion, according to the Russians. In the Jewish population, he spread this subversion. And as he was sitting in prison, awaiting trial, the warden conscious of being in the presence of a holy man, asked the rabbi a question that had long troubled him. He asked the rabbi, "We read in the book of Genesis that Adam and Eve sinned and that they hid among the trees of the Garden of Eden, and God called out, 'Where are you?' What I want to know is this," said the warden. "If God knows and sees everything, surely he knew where they were. Why did he need to ask, 'Where are you?'" The Rebbe replied, "The words of the Bible were not meant for their time alone, but also for all time." And so it is with the question that God asked Adam and Eve. God did not address the question to them alone, but to each of us in every generation. We squander our days, we squander our nights on artificial, temporary objectives. We become consumed with self-preservation and gratification, and we believe we can hide from the consequences. But always, after we have lost our course, we hear the voice of the Almighty asking within our hearts, "What have you done with your life? Where are you? I have given you a certain amount of years. How are you using them?" And so in light of the life of a good woman who graced this earth for 97 years, we ask ourselves, where are we? How will we interact with one another in the wake of Janet's death? How will we respond now that this dear woman has breathed her last? She was given a certain amount of years, and she filled them with meaning. Janet was born May 4th, 1920. She just celebrated her 97th birthday. Kanahora. I mean, it's a great thing. She was born here in Cleveland. Her parents, of blessed memory, Morris and Belle Friedman. She was preceded in death by her older sister, Ruth. Janet's mother did not call her Janet. Belle calls her by her given name, Jeanette. But apparently, Janet liked Janet better, and so Janet's Janet. She graduated Cleveland Heights High School in 1938. In 1942, she was working at the Department of the Navy and met Rennie Jaffe. He was in the Army. They were married in St. Louis on February 26, 1943. After a few years, they returned to Cleveland, and they shared a life of 53 years at the time of Rennie's death in December 1996. Many have been the blessings of family, especially she adored her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren. As any of us who has children knows, when it comes to the grandchildren, it's just all loving them up, just... If you knew how great-grandchildren were, you'd have skipped the children and just gone straight to the grandchildren. Unfortunately, that isn't the way it works, but she did. I'm sure she loved her children too, but the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren for any of us. She was blessed with 3 children, 5 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren. I will attempt to list them all. Children: Gary married to Penny. Gail. Gwen married to Larry. Grandchildren: Peter married to Miriam. Matthew married to Beth. Garrett married to Christine. Valerie married to Sean. Mariah. And then the great-grandchildren: Nigel, Eleanor, Milo, Abigail, Noah, Bryce, Audra, Harper. Beautiful. And also, she was a loving aunt to Mike and to Larry. Her children recalled she was the most positive person you could meet. You can even see it in that death notice picture, right? That smile. Beautiful, beautiful smile. She saw the good in people. She didn't see the bad in people very easily. Mom ran the house. In Yiddish, it's a balabus. She was a balabus. She was a master of the house. She was a homemaker. And when you walk into a house, it has the smells and the sounds of a home. You walk in from a hard day, I'm home. She ran the house. She made a home. With a smile on her face, she made a loving home. Over the years, she was very active with the PTA. She had a wonderful sense of humor. She was witty. Sometimes, you could even think, oh gosh, she's so clever. She was witty. She was outgoing. She was well loved by everybody. Hard to find someone, if you could even find someone, who didn't like her. She was well loved. Larry and Penny spoke of the accepting and welcoming way that she brought them into the family. And she was a loving grandmother. Did I mention that? To all of the grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Many years ago, she worked for the JCC on Mayfield Road, something called the Sunday Out program, taking people out for food and entertainment. She moved into Schneerman House in 1997 and enjoyed the place and the people. She did arts and crafts and decoupage. Gail moved to Schneerman House, and they have shared their lives together there. For the most part, Janet was blessed with good health. She ate healthy food. She exercised. She never wanted to be a burden to her children or to others. She apologized for being a burden, even though the children didn't see her as being a burden, but she apologized. I didn't want to be a burden. Over the past year and a half, she fell a few times, and through it all, when she was at Menorah Park, she was very determined and focused on getting better. She said with a smile on her face, "I've had a wonderful life. I am ready to go. I'm ready to go." She's a big Cleveland Cavaliers fan, and hopefully the Cavs will have a long, successful run, just like Janet had a long and successful run. On her 90th birthday, she read The Five Little Gefilte to her grandchildren with a smile on her face. This is a book, apparently, that if you've never read, well, I haven't yet, but I will be reading it soon. And we'll put it in our religious school library, maybe, if it's that good. The Five Little Gefilte. Tuesday night, she breathed her last. And now there is no more deterioration or pain. There's just rest and wholeness and peace. Her soul is returning to God to be with the souls of her dear family, friends, and the ancestors of our people. We learn this in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 7. The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. So we will place the body in the ground, which has been the vessel for the soul for these many years, and the soul is returning to God. The family is allowing us to send along a couple of well-prayed-from prayer books with her in the casket. Not only is it a mitzvah to escort your loved one to her final resting place, but it's a mitzvah to provide a respectful burial for holy books and items of our tradition. Your memories are rich with thoughts of Janet, and we give thanks to God for this gift of long life. As you think of her, be kinder and more thoughtful of others. Be more eager to help and serve others, and do this in her loving memory. And so we say with tears in our eyes, words from the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai Natan, v'Adonai lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevorach. The Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru yimru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. May God, who causes peace to reign in the high heavens, cause peace to rain down upon us, upon all Israel, and upon the soul of our dearly departed Janet Jaffe. And let us say, Amen. Please rise for El Maleh Rachamim, if you can. If you can't, it's okay too. Into your care, O God, we entrust the spirit of Janet Jaffe, for you keep faith with your children in death as in life. Sustain us that we may meet with serenity the mysteries that lie ahead, knowing that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you, O God, are with us, a loving friend in whom we put our trust. You are the light of our life, our hope in eternity. El Maleh Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hametzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kedoshim U'Tohorim, Kezohar Mazhirim, Et Nishmat Levana Bat Moshe, V'halacha La'olama, Ba'al Harachamim, Yastireha B'Seter Kenafav L'Olamim, Vayitzro B'Tzror HaChaim, Et Nishmata, Adonai Hu Nachalata, V'tanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkava, V'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Janet Jaffe, Levana Bat Moshe, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. Please be seated. We will go in a couple of minutes in procession to Mount Olive Cemetery, at which point we will lay her body to its final resting place, and we'll recite Kaddish there. The family has asked me to announce that we'll be gathering at the Schnurman House Social Center, 1229 Drury Court, immediately after the service. We'll probably be there in an hour and a half from now, hour and 15 minutes from now. So if you're not going to the cemetery with us, just meet us there in the social room. We'll recite Kaddish for Janet at the grave, and also for the next month at Temple Israel Ner Tamid, whether any family members are able to attend or not. It'll be our privilege to recite Kaddish for her beginning tonight for the next 4 Friday nights. And this, when the funeral director will come in and give us instructions, and we'll go in procession to Mount Olive Cemetery.